Good morning, Washington. This is a Sunday, July 10th edition of Dave TV here on DCRTV.com. I had a really good time yesterday at the Reston Festival, hung out for about 3 hours there. Even though I had my camo cap on to protect my bald head, I did get a lot of sunburn on the back of my neck, so I'm technically a redneck. But hung out with Joanne there at the Purpleology booth. And she'll be there again. I'm actually may hang around a little bit today again. So, I'm going to be doing some errands in that area today. So I may stop by the Purpleology booth again today. It's over there by the FedEx office thingy there on the far front end of town center. And Joanne had a lot of traffic, and there was quite a number. I wouldn't say a huge horde of DCRTV folks, but I did meet a couple of cool people. One of our regular mailbag contributors that I don't think I had ever met before, so it was really nice. And then one of my really cool, super duper secret source guys came by, so that was nice. And we did talk a lot of radio, and I'm going to share with you a couple of interesting impressions that I got from the talks. Also, I've been sending out feelers. A lot of you that have been visiting DCRTV in the last month or so have noticed that our web pages load kind of slow, and sometimes all the graphics don't load. Well, you can go to the graphic and you can right-click on where the graphic should be, and your browser will give you a couple of options, and one of them may be display or show picture. If you really want to see that image, click on that, and then the graphic it'll force the server to load that picture. But what's causing all this, as you probably know, is what is called a cyber attack, and that is where it's called a DDoS, distributed denial of service attack, that's been coming from all over, from literally zombie computers from everywhere, all over the world. It's not in one region. We've always been wondering who's doing this. Literally sending 1,000 requests a second to DCRTV, kind of jamming up the, it's like literally if 1,000 people tried to get into Walmart every second, it would be hard to get into Walmart. It's kind of the same thing. 1,000 people are trying to access DCRTV at every second, and then you come along, and if you're hitting it at a second when there's all those things coming in, you get slow page load and a few missing graphics. Now, if you come in a second later, there may be only 532 people or zombie computers trying to access the site, so you get in a little easier. Literally, it changes second to second. You can get 1 second and you have a trouble, and then the next second, everything's fine, like there's no problem. So I've been asking around, and in the DC area, there's a lot of web security people that do a lot of web stuff for the military and the government. And I was just asking folks, what do you think? Who's causing this? Could it be a disgruntled radio person? Could it be a company out there that maybe we have offended? Could it be a foreign government? And the general consensus that I'm getting is that it is a foreign government. And the consensus is pointing to the Chinese military. That's what I'm hearing from the people that have been looking into what's going on at DCRTV. And I'm saying, well, why would the Chinese military give a rat's ass about a website that covers local radio and TV? It has nothing to do with China or Chinese politics. Well, apparently we run some ads on the website that are connected to either defense contractors or to various military organizations. In fact, we run an ad by this group called USNI. We're very nice people over there. I've had a nice relationship with them for a couple of years over there, over in Annapolis, and they offer a service to journalists where, if journalists are looking for information on a particular military issue, they will guide them and give them some sources and stuff. So we've been running their ad for a couple of years now, and this, one of my, internet security guys out there, he says that's probably it. That ad probably triggered something, because they do attack the USNI, the Naval Academy, they attack the Pentagon, so they attack the VOA, they attack even other media organizations. And of course, DCRTV being a relatively small one-man organization, we don't have these super duper servers like, the Washington Post and other groups do. We don't pay, tens of thousands of dollars for servers. We don't have the money like that. So, you see when they come after us, the small little website, although we do have a really good server company in Pittsburgh, and they've done I have to say, a wonderful job at keeping us up and running. But still, on the smaller websites, you see it. So the Chinese military is the consensus, and I'm going to keep the USI. They've been a good sponsor. I have no reason not to keep them as a sponsor. But it's we have nothing to do with USNI. We're not a military site. It's just crazy. But I guess that's par for the course when you become a big popular website like DCRTV. What the hell? Anyhow, folks, I'm going to share with you a couple of interesting things. I've talked to a number of radio folks at the festival yesterday, and some of them were pretty long-time guys and stuff like that, and just wanted to share a couple consensus. So let's first start with Jeep Channel here. The Jeep Channel. I'm out of focus, right? I noticed yesterday I've been out of focus, so let's get me in focus there. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you can read it clearer, right? Cheap Channel. Cheap Channel, basically their stations are doing pretty good. However, the weak link is big, WBIG 100.3 FM. And somebody's telling me that, if any of their stations is going to flip, look for 100.3 to do something different. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. The rest of the stations are all in good shape. Boring, dull radio. But they make money, they get ratings. But the one that's in trouble is big. It doesn't mean it's going to change anytime soon. May not be for another year or so, or maybe tweak some more, whatever. But that's the one. I'm still looking out of focus. Did you ever see that? Did you ever see a Woody Allen movie? What was it? There's a Woody Allen movie with Robin Williams in it where everybody was out of focus. I'll have to watch that one again. Okay, so what about CBS here in Washington? What's going to happen with them? They've got the new guy, Steve Swenson, is taken over from Sam Rogers, who has kind of said, Sam, you better resign. So is Steve going to do anything different? And the consensus I'm getting is Steve is not going to make huge changes here in Washington. Why? Well, CBS Radio doesn't get the best ratings if you look at the 12 pluses. But they do very well in their niche target demos. WJFK does very well with men. Fresh does pretty well with women. El Zol really targets the Hispanic market. And, PGC is still, even though it makes a third of the revenue of WTOP, is still the second highest billing station in the market. So you're not going to see any big changes. If there's a change, my sources say it'll probably be at 94.7. Because, Steve may try to put a talker in the market, I'm told. They tried that on 1580. It didn't work because the signal's bad. But CBS he may try to do that. Now, my sources also say they're probably not going to do a full-blown all-newser to go against WTOP because WTOP is a big CBS radio client. They do carry, even though it's owned by Hubbard, they do carry the CBS radio news over there. So that's what I'm hearing about that. So, again, no huge big changes, at least for the moment. What about CityCube? Citadel owns WMAL, WRQX, WVRX, and they're getting bought out by Cumulus or whatever. We've also reported the rumor here that there are going to be some big changes at 105.9, like possibly WMAL taking over that frequency. But my sources tend to disagree with that. They're saying, first off, nothing much is going to happen at Citadel until the Cumulus takeover takes place. Nobody at Citadel wants to make any moves right now. So you're not going to see any changes anytime soon, which tends to, one of my sources a while back, about a couple weeks ago, really said there's big changes coming to 105.9. And I've talked to a number of, on the record sources at WMAL, and nobody has responded to me. They're all just silent. I took that to mean that, maybe something's up there, but it could also mean that everybody's scared to death to talk to me. So, who knows? But my sources tell me, the ones I've been talking to, that MAL ain't going to change much. Stay there on 630. Mix isn't going to change much on 107.3. There will be changes at 105.9 eventually. It could mean format tweaking, depending on what happens at Big. They could go back to some more of an oldie stance in their format. But it's not going to happen anything. Nothing will happen until after the Cumulus takeover. When can that be? Later this year sometime, maybe at the end of the year, maybe early next. Takes a while for these things to get through. So anyhow, even though we've hyped a lot about the WMAL being on 105.9, and a lot of people in the market, especially the guys over there at TOP, say that's a smart move. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Now watch, tomorrow it'll flip. Who knows? All right, and the last one we got some stuff on is the Dead Zebra. The sports talker there that's owned by the very, very popular Dan Snyder, owner of the Redskins, who everybody in the Washington market just loves him. I'm told by my sources that ESPN ain't happy with their arrangement there. They just aren't. The ratings aren't what they want. They don't particularly like the coverage and signal strength of 570, which is carrying the ESPN national network now. Not a lot of happy campers there. If there's going to be some changes, if there's going to be a sell-off of stations, there could be maybe something going on at Red Zebra. Maybe Snyder's realized, hey, being in the radio business ain't just cut out for me. He never got the FM signal he wanted. He really needed a major FM signal to get that station going, and it just hasn't happened. Although he makes money there, he's making money basically because he's got the Redskins. So we shall see. We shall see. All right, folks, that's it. That's it for Dave TV for this weekend. We're almost at the 12-minute mark. For the 10th of July. I may be at the Reston Festival a little bit today, so do stop by the Purpleology booth there in the 1990s section and over there by the FedEx office. If I'm not there, then you've missed me. But Navy SEALs, take that, Chinese military. Don't forget to have a good one and stay tuned.